Okay, my friends, this is the alright, my friends, we will get started as the world turns here. Okay. I do want to get into a lot tonight, but it is very, very crucial here that we come in now. Alrighty. Okay. Is everybody ready? I think we are. Okay. So, now alright, my friends, you are watching Political Point Magazine, where the right is right and the left, well, the left is always on the wrong side of history. Why? Because political minds want to know. So enjoy a conservative point of view. And let's talk pea soup. My friends, tonight's top stories, we will be talking about the debates. And so, on tonight, I am your host, William Mitro. Alright, my friends, yes, we will be talking about the CNN debates, GOP debates tonight. And I will show some clips from the debate and go over what I think, and that will depend on what we are talking about. And then we will take it to the phones and talk to you, the viewers. And so, as we go on tonight, alright, welcome to another episode of Political Point Magazine. Okay, now, I don't really have a whole list of topics that I'm going to discuss tonight, but tonight I am just going to go over the Republican debate, the first the CNN debate. And to me, now, with the GOP candidates all looking pretty good there, all right, we need to really go into this, okay, because this is very, very crucial. Okay, now after the last debate, I felt that Ben Carson did a really good job, okay, and Carly Fiorina rised up and really improved after the last debate, and this debate. Okay, I'm gonna start off with some of the highlights from the second debate. Okay. And we do really want to get into this. But first I want to show some of the highlights of the second debate. Okay, but I felt in watching the debate that we had the candidates really showed themselves, especially the outsiders. Okay, the outsiders: Carly Fiorina, Donald Trump, and Ben Carson. Now, there is talk of whether or not Carson improved himself in this debate, but I also felt that in this debate, in this particular debate, the loser was CNN. All right, because it seemed to me that they really put this thing together to have the candidates all gang up on Donald Trump. Okay, and then it seemed to me like it was very unorganized. It wasn't as organized as one might say the Fox debate. All right, where they had the bell to mark their time, and instead it was their rule under their rules. Okay, which I think was very ridiculous. Okay, they had a moderator kind of mark the time, and they marked the time that they had 1 minute. I think they had like 1 or 2 minutes to talk, and then 30 seconds for a follow up. But it was a smaller amount of time than what was allowed in the Fox debate. All right. So, on this note, as they announced everything here. All right, and I'm going to go through this here. Okay, with the candidate.
The 11 leading Republican candidates for president are at their podiums. They are ready to face off. And if you've been watching this race, you know anything could happen over the next few hours. To viewers who are just joining us, welcome to the Air Force One Pavilion of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. Our thanks to the staff here, and especially to former First Lady Nancy Reagan for this impressive setting with Ronald Reagan's presidential plane as our backdrop. This debate is airing on CNN networks in the United States and around the world. It's also being broadcast on the Salem Radio Network. I know everyone is very eager to get started, but first, I want to explain the ground rules tonight. My name is Jake Tapper. I'll be the moderator. I will be joined in the questioning by Salem Radio Network talk show host Hugh Hewitt. He worked in the Reagan administration for 6 years. And by CNN's chief political correspondent, Dana Bash. I will ask follow-up questions. I will attempt to guide the discussion. Candidates, I will try to make sure each of you gets your fair share of questions. You'll have 1 minute to answer and 30 seconds for follow-ups and rebuttals. I'll give you time to respond if you have been singled out for criticism. Our viewers should know that we have timing lights that are visible to the candidates to warn them when their time is up. These 11 Republicans are positioned on the stage based on their ranking in recent national polls. Our goal for this evening is a debate, a true debate, with candidates addressing each other in areas where they differ, where they disagree on policy, on politics, on leadership. Now, let's begin. I'd like to invite each candidate to take 30 seconds to introduce him or herself to our audience. First to you, Senator Paul.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm an eye surgeon from Bowling Green, Kentucky. My wife, Kelly, and I have been married for nearly 25 years, and I spend my days defending the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I think there's nothing more important than understanding that the Constitution restrains government, not the people. Thank you.
I'm Mike Huckabee. I'm delighted to be on this stage with some remarkable fellow Republicans. None of us are a self-professed socialist. None of us on this stage are under investigation for the FBI because we destroyed government records or because we leaked secrets. I know that there are some in the Wall Street to Washington axis of power who speak of all of us contemptuously. But I'm here to say that I think we are, in fact, the A-team. We have some remarkable people. And in fact, not only are we the A-team, we even have our own Mr. T, who doesn't mind saying about others, you're a fool. And I'm delighted to be here with all of these guys and would put any of them into the administration that I led. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Marco Rubio. I'm from Florida. My wife Jeanette and I are the proud parent. We've been married 17 years and we're the proud parents of 4 children, 2 of whom were able to join us here this evening. I'm honored to be here at the Reagan Library, at a place that honors the legacy of a man who inspired not just my interest in public service, but also our love for country. And I'm also aware that California has a drought, and so that's why I made sure I brought my own water. Senator Cruz?
I'm Ted Cruz. I'm the son of an Irish-Italian mom and a Cuban immigrant dad who fled oppression and came to America seeking freedom. I'm a husband to my best friend Heidi, who's here tonight. I'm a dad to 2 little girls who are the loves of my life, Caroline and Catherine. If you're fed up with Washington, if you're looking for someone to stand up to career politicians in both parties, I'm the only one on this stage who has done that over and over again. And if we stand together, we can bring America back.
Hi, I'm Ben Carson, and I'm a retired pediatric neurosurgeon. I'm here with my wife Candy of 40 years and 2 of my sons and their wives. I stress the pediatric part of my career because the reason that I've gotten involved in this race is because I'm very concerned about the future of our children. And the direction of our country is one that does not portend well unless we, the people, intervene and retake our rightful place at the pinnacle. And I just want to make it clear that I'm grateful to be here with all of you again and welcome the addition of Carly Fiorina as well.
I'm Donald Trump. I wrote The Art of the Deal. I say not in a braggadocious way. I've made billions and billions of dollars dealing with people all over the world, and I want to put whatever that talent is to work for this country. So we have great trade deals. We make our country rich again. We make it great again. We build up our military. We take care of our vets. We get rid of Obamacare. And we have a great life all together. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm Jeb Bush, and I believe America is on the verge of its greatest century, and I'm ready to lead. I'm a committed conservative reformer that cut taxes, that balanced budgets, that took on the special interests in Florida, and we won. I look forward to talking tonight about how we can fix a broken Washington, D.C., and create an environment where people can rise up again in this great country. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Scott Walker, and Tonette and I want to thank Mrs. Reagan and the Reagan Library for hosting us. You see, in my lifetime, the greatest president was a governor from California. Ronald Reagan knew how to go big and go bold. He understood the essence of moving this country forward, and that's what I did when I took on the status quo in my state and the Washington-based special interest. Now more than ever, America needs a leader who will go big and bold again, someone who's been tested. I'm ready to be that leader. Thank you.
Good evening. My story, from secretary to CEO, is only possible in this nation and proves that every one of us has potential. My husband Frank of 30 years started out driving a tow truck for a family-owned auto body shop. We have come to a pivotal point in our nation's history where this nation's possibilities and potential are being crushed by a government grown so big, so powerful, so inept, so corrupt, and a political class that refuses to do anything about it. I am prepared to lead the resurgence of this great nation.
Oh, I'm John Kasich, the governor of Ohio. Emma and Reese, my children, and Karen, love you girls. Thanks for watching tonight. By the way, I think I actually flew on this plane with Ronald Reagan when I was a congressman, and his goals and mine really pretty much the same. Lift Americans, unify, give hope, grow America, and restore it to that great shining city on a hill. Yes, he was a great one, and I learned much from watching him. The most important thing, hope to Americans, unify, lift everyone in America.
Hi, my name is Chris Christie, and I'd like you to take the camera off me and put it on the audience, because I'd like to ask all of you, how many of you, raise your hand, believe that in today's Barack Obama America, your children will have a better life than you've had? You see, that's why I'm running for president, because leadership is not about me, it's about our country. And what we talk about tonight is not about us, it's about the people in the audience tonight. Because in 7 short years, this president has stripped away their trust and their faith and their belief that the next generation will have a better life. He's stolen that from us, and when I'm president, I'm going to take it back.
Thank you, one and all, for being here. There are many important policy issues facing our nation. We're going to get to many tonight, but I do want to start off with some current events in the news and also some of the comments that candidates have recently made on the campaign trail. Ms. Fiorina,
Let me pause this for a moment here, because this part is where Carly Fiorina had a really good night at that debate, and by the way, which I think that Carly Fiorina actually won this debate, but take a listen to this. This is definitely Carly Fiorina's moment. Okay.
fellow Republican candidate and Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal has suggested that your party's frontrunner, Mr. Donald Trump, would be dangerous as president. He said he wouldn't want, quote, such a hothead with his finger on the nuclear codes. You as well have raised concerns about Mr. Trump's temperament. You've dismissed him as an entertainer. Would you feel comfortable with Donald Trump's finger on the nuclear codes?
You know, I think Mr. Trump is a wonderful entertainer. He's been terrific at that business. I also think that one of the benefits of a presidential campaign is the character and capability, judgment and temperament of every single one of us is revealed over time and under pressure. All of us will be revealed over time and under pressure. I look forward to a long race.
You didn't answer my question. Would you feel comfortable with Donald Trump's finger on the nuclear codes? It's an issue that one of your fellow candidates has raised.
That's not for me to answer. It is for the voters of this country to answer. And I have a lot of faith in the common sense and good judgment of the voters of the United States of America.
Mr. Trump?
Well, first of all, Rand Paul shouldn't even be on this stage. He's number 11. He's got 1% in the polls. And how he got up here, there's far too many people. Anyway, as far as temperament, and we all know that, as far as temperament, I think I have a great temperament. I built a phenomenal business with incredible, iconic assets, one of the really, truly great businesses. And I may be an entertainer because I've had tremendous success with #1 bestsellers all over the place, with The Apprentice and everything else I've done. But I will tell you this, what I am far and away greater than an entertainer is a businessman. And that's the kind of mindset this country needs to bring it back. Because we owe $19 trillion right now, $19 trillion kind of thinking to bring our country back. And believe me, my temperament is very good, very calm, but we will be respected outside of this country. We are not respected now.
Mr. Senator Paul, your name has been invoked.
I kind of have to laugh when I think, sounds like a non sequitur. He was asked whether or not he would be capable and it would be in good hands to be in charge of the nuclear weapons, and all of a sudden there's a sideways attack at me. I think that really goes to really the judgment. Do we want someone with that kind of character, that kind of careless language to be negotiating with Putin? Do we want someone like that to be negotiating with Iran? I think really there's a sophomoric quality that is entertaining about Mr. Trump. But I am worried. I'm very concerned about having him in charge of the nuclear weapons, because I think his response, his visceral response to attack people on their appearance, short, tall, fat, ugly. My goodness, that happened in junior high. Are we not way above that? Would we not all be worried to have someone like that in charge of the nuclear arsenal?
Mr. Trump.
I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there. That I can tell you.
I want to give Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, I want to give you another chance. Mr. Trump, I want to give you a chance to respond to something that your rival to your left, Governor Bush, said. Governor Bush told me last week, when I read him the quote from Governor Jindal, that he agrees you're not a serious candidate. Tell Governor Bush why you are a serious candidate and what your qualifications are to be Commander-in-Chief.
I've actually been in politics all my life, although I've been on that side as opposed to this side. I'm now a politician for about 3 months. Obviously, I'm doing pretty well. I'm number one in every polls by a lot. But the qualification is that I've dealt with people all over the world, been successful all over the world. Everything I've done virtually has been a tremendous success. When markets changed, when things turned, I heard Governor Pataki, who, by the way, was a failed governor in New York, a very seriously failed. He wouldn't be elected dog catcher right now. I heard what he had to say. And I will tell you this. Atlantic City, I made a tremendous amount of money in Atlantic City. I left 7 years ago. I've gotten great credit for my timing. And that's what I'm all about. I'm a businessman, did really well. And, Jeb, what I want to do is put that ability into this country to make our country rich again. And I can do that, and I'm not sure that anybody else in the group will be able to do that.
Governor Bush, would you be comfortable with Donald Trump's finger on the nuclear codes?
I think the voters will make that determination, but what I know to be true is that the next president of the United States is going to have to fix an extraordinarily difficult situation. This administration, with President Obama and Hillary Clinton, has created insecurity, the likes of which we never would have imagined. There's not a place in the world where we're better off today than 6.5 years ago. And that requires a steadiness. That requires an understanding of how the world works. That requires an understanding and appreciation of American leadership in the world. You can't talk about this stuff and insult leaders around the world and expect a good result. You have to do this with a steady hand, and I believe I have those skills.
Jake, this is what's wrong with this debate. We're not talking about real issues. And Mr. Trump, we don't need an apprentice in the White House. We don't need an apprentice in the White House. We have one right now. He told us all the things we wanted to hear back in 2008. We don't know who you are or where you're going. We need someone who can actually get the job done. And you talked about business.
Well, in Wisconsin,
let me talk about
in
this.
Wisconsin, you're losing $2.2 billion right now. I would do so much better than that.
Mr. Trump, you're using the talking points of the Democrats. And as we all know, that failed 3 times in 4.5 years when I got elected because it is working. We balanced the budget. You want to talk about balanced budgets? You took 4 major projects into bankruptcy over and over and over again. You can't take America into bankruptcy. That's what's wrong with the politicians in Washington right now. They think we can take a country into bankruptcy.
Every major business leader has used I never went bankrupt, by the way, as you know, everybody knows. But out of hundreds of companies, hundreds of deals, I've used the law 4 times, made a tremendous thing. I'm in business. I did a very good job. But I will say this, and people are very, very impressed with what I've done, the business people. But when the folks of Iowa found out the true facts of the job that you've done in Wisconsin, all of a sudden you tubed. He was number 1, now he's number 6 or 7 in the poll. So, look, we brought it out. You were supposed to make $1 billion in the state. You lost 2.2. You have right now a huge budget deficit. That's not a Democratic point. That's a point. That's a fact. And when the people of Iowa found that out, I went to number 1, and you went down the tubes.
Governor Walker?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take this out. Because this is an issue that's important in this race. Just because he says it doesn't make it true. The facts are the facts. We balanced a $3.6 billion budget deficit. We did it by cutting taxes $4.7 billion to help working families, family farmers, small business owners, and senior citizens. And it's about time people in America stand up and take note of this. If you want someone who can actually take on the special interest of Washington, which you yourself just said you were part of, using the system, we need somebody who's going to stand up and fight for average Americans to put them back in charge of the government. I'm the one who's taking that on. I'll do that as your next president.
Let's move on.
Okay, well, I thought that was Scott Walker's big moment. I thought he did a really good job in that response there. And Scott Walker, really, I admire Scott Walker. You know, in fact, during when he got elected to Wisconsin as governor of Wisconsin, he came into an awful situation where there was a deficit, and the Democrat governor before him left a terrible situation, and then when he became governor, he did Wisconsin a much better job, and then the radicals on the left tried to recall him over the unions and whatnot, but then he beat the recall. So he's a 3-time champion. Plus he got reelected again in 2015. So in 2014 I mean. But so he's a 3-time champion, governor of Wisconsin, and he has policies that work. That work. Wisconsin is now a right-to-work state, and their economy is doing really well. Their taxes are low, and all of the Democrat states should learn from Republican states. All right, that every time a Republican is in charge, that their policies are much better for the economy. Okay, Democrats should learn something from that, but they don't. They simply don't. Okay, but now moving on, I want to show some more of the CNN debate with this, because Carly Fiorina had another great moment in this debate here.
Jake, a phenomenon going on in the race right now is that the political... Okay, Governor Casey, go ahead.
Listen, if I were sitting at home and watching this back and forth, I'd be inclined to turn it off. I mean, people at home want to know, across this country, they want to know what we're going to do to fix this place, how we're going to balance a budget, how we're going to create more economic growth, how we're going to pay down the debt, what we're going to do to strengthen the military. So we've just spent 10 minutes here.
We have a lot of issues coming up,
but wait a minute, with a lot of ad hominem. Now, I know that it may be buzzing out there, but I think it's important we get to the issues, because that's what the people want, and they don't want all this fighting. Well,
a phenomenon going on in this race is that the political outsiders in the race, Dr. Carson, Donald Trump, Carly Fiorina, all together have majority support in the polls. Governor Christie, I want to ask you about something that Dr. Carson said the other day. Dr. Carson said campaigning is easier for him because he's not a politician. He can just tell the truth, therefore, while politicians, quote, have their finger in the air to see and do what is politically expedient. Governor Christie, tell Dr. Carson, is that a fair description of you?
Well, I know Ben doesn't think that about me. I'm sure he was talking about one of the other guys, not me. And as far as being an outsider is concerned, let me tell you this, Jake. I am a Republican in New Jersey. I wake up every morning as an outsider. I wake up every morning with a Democratic legislature who's trying to beat my head in and fight me because I'm trying to bring conservative change to a state that needed it desperately. And so everyone can talk up here about their credentials, but the bottom line is every morning I get up, I vetoed 400 bills from a crazy liberal Democratic legislature. Not one of them has been overridden. I vetoed more tax increases than any governor in American history, according to Americans for Tax Reform. What folks want in this country is somebody to go down there and get the job done. And that's exactly what I'll do. So I know this much, that what the American people want to hire right now is somebody who believes in them and believes that they are the ones who can fix our country. I will be the vessel through which they can fix this country. But it's not about me. It's about all of you and getting this government off your back and out of your way and letting you succeed. So I know that Ben wasn't talking about me. Look at him smiling at me right now. I know Ben didn't mean it about me.
Thank you, Governor Christie.
One of these other guys, I'm sure.
Dr. Carson, who were you thinking about on this stage when you said that? And
be honest, Ben.
And more broadly, is experience in government not important for a president to have?
Typically, politicians do things that are politically expedient, and they are looking for whatever their particular goal is. That is not the reason that I have gotten into this thing. I am extraordinarily concerned about the direction of this country, the divisiveness that is going on, the fiscal irresponsibility, the failure to take a leadership position in the world, all of those things will lead to a situation where the next generation will not have a chance that we've had now. So I don't want to really get into describing who's a politician and who's not a politician, but I think that people have kind of made that decision for themselves already and will continue to do so as time goes on.
Thank you, Dr. Carson.
Jake, it wasn't me.
Jake,
I'm
I'll tell you why people are supporting outsiders. It's because you know what happens if someone's been in the system their whole life. They don't know how broken the system is. A fish swims in water. It doesn't know it's water. It's not that politicians are bad people. It's that they've been in that system forever. The truth is 75% of the American people think the government is corrupt. 82% of the American people think these problems that have festered for 50 years in some cases, 25 years, and in other cases, the border's been insecure for 25 years. 307,000 veterans have died waiting for health care. These things have gone on for so long because no one will challenge the status quo. You know what a leader does? They challenge the status quo, they solve problems that have festered for a long time, and they produce results. That is what my whole life has been about. People know this is about far more than replacing a D with an R. This is about changing the system.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Verita. Governor Bush, in addition to the fact that he's an outsider, one of the reasons Mr. Trump is a front-runner, Republican voters say, is because they like the fact that he is not bought and paid wealthy donors. Mr. Trump has repeatedly said that the $100 million you've raised for your campaign makes you a puppet for your donors. Are you?
No, absolutely not. People are supporting me because I have a proven record of conservative leadership, where I cut taxes $19 billion over 8 years. We shrunk the state government workforce. We created a climate that led the nation in job growth 7 out of 8 years. We were one of 2 states to go to AAA bond rating. People know that we need principle-centered leadership, a disruptor to go to Washington, D.C. The one guy that had some special interest that I know of that tried to get me to change my views on something that was generous and gave me money was Donald Trump. He wanted casino gambling in Florida.
I did want
Yes, you did.
Totally false.
You wanted it, and you didn't get it because I was
it.
opposed to casino gambling
I
before,
promise I would've
during,
gotten it.
and after. And that's not, I'm not going to be bought by anybody.
I promise, if I wanted it, I would have gotten it.
No way, Dan.
Believe me.
Nope.
I know my people.
Not even possible.
I know my people.
Is there anything else you want to say about this?
No, I just will tell you that, Jeb made the statement. I'm not only referring to him. A lot of money was raised by a lot of different people that are standing up here. And the donors, the special interests, the lobbyists have very strong power over these people. I'm spending all of my money. I'm not getting any. I turned down so much. I could have right now from special interests and donors, I could have double and triple what he's got. I've turned it down. I've turned down last week $5 million from somebody. So I will tell you, I understand the game. I've been on the other side all of my life, and they have a lot of control over our politicians. And I don't say that favorably, and I'm not sure if there's another system, but I say this, I am not accepting any money from anybody. Nobody has control of me other than the people of this country. I'm going to do the right thing.
You got, according to to what you said on one of the talk shows, you got Hillary Clinton to go to your wedding because
true.
you gave her money.
True.
Maybe it works for Hillary Clinton. It doesn't work for anybody on this stage.
I was a businessman. I got along with Clinton. I got along with everybody. That was my job, to get along with people.
But the simple fact is...
Excuse me, 1 second.
No.
I didn't want to...
Donald, you cannot take...
More energy tonight. I like that. Look,
I was asked the question.
I didn't want...
Okay, now for those of you that don't know, okay, while Donald Trump has been campaigning on the campaign trail, he has called Jeb Bush low energy. And I think this was the moment that Jeb actually showed himself to be actually better than low energy. All right, so Jeb Bush definitely did a much better job at this debate than he did at the Fox debate. All right, but let me continue with this. This is this is amazing. I like this.
It was my obligation as a businessman to my family, to my company, to my employees, to get along with all politicians. I get along with all of them. and I did a damn good job in doing it. Go ahead.
So, he supports Pelosi. He supports Schumer. He supports Clinton.
Got along with everybody.
And when he asked Florida to have casino gambling, we said no.
Wrong.
We said no, and that's the simple fact.
Don't make things up, Jeb.
Don't cut me off.
Come on, don't make things up.
Jake, can I say something about that?
Sure, Dr. Carson.
You know, when I entered this race, all the political pundits said it's impossible. You can't do it because you're not connected with the money, and there's no way that you can raise what you need in order to compete successfully. I, in no way, am willing to get in the bed with special interest groups or lick the boots of billionaires. I have said to the people, if they want me to do this, please get involved. And we now have over 500,000 donations, and the money is coming in. But the pundits forgot about one thing, and that is the people, and they are really in charge.
Thank you, Dr. Carson. Let's move to Russia, if we could. Russia is sending troops and tanks into Syria right now to prop up a U.S. enemy, Bashar al-Assad. President Obama's incoming top general says, quote, Russia presents the greatest threat to our national security. Mr. Trump, you say you can do business with President Vladimir Putin. You say you will get along, quote, very well. What would you do right now if you were president to get the Russians out of Syria?
All right, so number one, they have to respect you. He has absolutely no respect for President Obama. Zero. Syria is a mess. You look at what's going on with ISIS in there. Now think of this. We're fighting ISIS. ISIS wants to fight Syria. Why are we fighting ISIS in Syria? Let them fight each other and pick up the remnants. I would talk to him. I would get along with him. I believe, and I may be wrong, in which case I'd probably have to take a different path, but I would get along with a lot of the world leaders that this country is not getting along with. We don't get along with China. We don't get along with the heads of Mexico. We don't get along with anybody. And yet at the same time, they rip us left and right. They take advantage of us economically and every other way. We get along with nobody. I will get along, I think, with Putin, and I will get along with others. And we will have a much more stable world.
So just to clarify, the only answer I heard to the question I asked is that you would reach out to Vladimir Putin and you would do what?
I believe that I will get along. We will do, between that, Ukraine, all of the other problems, we won't have the kind of problems that our country has right now with Russia and many other nations.
Senator Rubio, you've taken a very different approach to the question of Russia. You've called Vladimir Putin a, quote, gangster. Why would President Rubio's approach be more effective than President Trump's?
Well, first of all, I have an understanding of exactly what it is Russia and Putin are doing, and it's pretty straightforward. He wants to reposition Russia once again as a geopolitical force. He himself said that the destruction of the Soviet Union, the fall of the Soviet Union, was the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the 20th century. And now he's trying to reverse that. He's trying to destroy NATO. And this is what this is a part of. He is exploiting a vacuum that this administration has left in the Middle East. Here's what you're going to see in the next few weeks. The Russians will begin to fly combat missions in that region, not just targeting ISIS, but in order to prop up Assad. He will also then turn to other countries in the region and say, America is no longer a reliable ally, Egypt. America is no longer a reliable ally, Saudi Arabia. Begin to rely on us. What he is doing is he is trying to replace us as the single most important power broker in the Middle East, and this president is allowing it. That is what is happening in the Middle East. That's what's happening with Russia.
Thank you, Senator Rubio. I want to bring in Carly Fiorina. Ms. Fiorina,
Having met Vladimir Putin, if I may, having met Vladimir Putin, I wouldn't talk to him at all. We've talked way too much to him. What I would do immediately is begin rebuilding the Sixth Fleet. I would begin rebuilding the missile defense program in Poland. I would conduct regular, aggressive military exercises in the Baltic states. I'd probably send a few thousand more troops into Germany. Vladimir Putin would get the message. By the way, the reason it is so critically important that every one of us know General Soleimani's name is because Russia is in Syria right now because the head of the Quds force traveled to Russia and talked Vladimir Putin into aligning themselves with Iran and Syria to prop up Bashar al-Assad. Russia is a bad actor, but Vladimir Putin is someone we should not talk to because the only way he will stop is to sense strength and resolve on the other side. And we have all of that within our control. We could rebuild the Sixth Fleet. I will. We haven't. We could rebuild the missile defense program. We haven't. I will. We could also, to Senator Rubio's point, give the Egyptians what they've asked for, which is intelligence. We could give the Jordanians what they've asked for, bombs and materiel. We have not supplied it. I will. We could arm the Kurds. They've been asking us for 3 years. All of this is within our control.
Thank you, Ms. Fiorina. While you brought up the subject of General Soleimani of the Quds forces from Iran, the next president, no matter who he or she may be, will inherit President Obama's Iran deal. Senator Cruz.
Okay, now when they talked about the Iran deal, now, okay, this is where Donald Trump really amazed me. Okay, when they talked about Iran and the new Iran nuke deal, because Donald Trump brought up a very important point, okay, of this. Okay, take a listen.
Governor Kasich says that anyone who is promising to rip up the Iran deal on day one, as you have promised to do, is, quote, inexperienced and, quote, playing to a crowd. Respond to Governor Kasich, please.
Well, let me tell you, Jake, the single biggest national security threat facing America right now is the threat of a nuclear Iran. We've seen 6.5 years of President Obama leading from behind. Weakness is provocative, and this Iranian nuclear deal is nothing short of catastrophic. This deal on its face will send over $100 billion to the Ayatollah Khamenei, making the Obama administration the world's leading financier of radical Islamic terrorism. This deal abandons 4 American hostages in Iran, and this deal will only accelerate Iran's acquiring nuclear weapons. You better believe it. If I am elected president on the very first day in office, I shreds this catastrophic Iranian nuclear deal.
Why is that not, as Governor Kasich says, playing to the crowd and an example of you being inexperienced?
Well, let's be clear when it comes to experience. What President Obama wants to do is he's run to the United Nations, and he wants to use the United Nations to bind the United States and take away our sovereignty. Well, I spent 5.5 years as the Solicitor General of Texas, the lead lawyer for the state in front of the U.S. Supreme Court, and I went in front of the Supreme Court and took on the World Court in the United Nations in a case called Medellin versus Texas, and we won an historic victory saying the World Court in the UN has no power to bind the United States, and no president of the United States, Republican or Democrat, has the authority to give away our sovereignty. And so if there's anyone up here who would be bound by this catastrophic deal with Iran, they're giving up the core responsibility of Commander-in-Chief, and as President, I would never do that.
Governor Kasich, did Senator Cruz just play to the crowd?
Let me just say this. First of all, I think it's a bad agreement. I would never have done it. But you know, a lot of our problems in the world today is that we don't have the relationship with our allies. If we want to go everywhere alone, we will not have the strength as if we can rebuild our relationship with our allies. Now, this agreement, we don't know what's going to happen in 18 months. I served on the Defense Committee for 18 years. I've seen lots of issues in foreign affairs and in terms of global politics. You have to be steady. Now, if they cheat, we slap the sanctions back on. If they help Hamas and Hezbollah, we slap the sanctions back on. And if we find out that they may be developing a nuclear weapon, then the military option is on the table. We are stronger when we work with the Western civilization, our friends in Europe, and just doing it on our own, I don't think is the right policy.
Thank you, Governor Kasich. I want to go to Senator Paul. I want to go to Senator Paul. Senator Paul, the White House is rolling out the red carpet next week for the president of China, President Xi. Governor Walker says that President Obama should cancel the state dinner because of China's currency manipulation and because of China's alleged cyber attacks against the United States. Is Governor Walker right?
I think this goes back to essentially what we've been saying for the last 2 or 3 questions. Carly Fiorina also said we're not going to talk with Putin.
Now, when I get down to I actually want to take it to a phone call if anybody is watching here. All right, but now I want to get to another segment here. Okay, while I'm waiting here. But anyhow, okay. Hello, you're on the air. What's on your political mind?
I want to say so much, Will. It's hard to say when you got 19 characters in front of you. I want to say that Trump, had good points at times. Mm-hmm. I wanted to say that Marcus Rubio had the most intelligent knowing these people. Mm-hmm. Why are we playing a game of risk? Why is the United States overseas paying for it all, trying to get them to to be a sane, civilized country, or at least dealing with the UN and globe? Why are they taking it out on the global citizens wherever they live, as far as administrators, presidents, as far as prime ministers, voted in as power from the people's dollars and cents? So all this has to come down to, they need to all get together in alliance globally and not take it out on the people that have paid throughout the world of humanity. So I'm looking at Marcus Carubio, because Carubio did very good in knowing actual names and cited of people, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's as far as the Republican candidate. I did like the other people. I did like what Ben was saying.
What about, Ben
but
Carson?
then Ben started a trevo. We do not need to shut a country down because innocent people get hurt.
What about
We're a global marketing society. Hold on. Go ahead.
What about Carly Fiorina?
Carly Fiorina sounded great, but she's straight to the point, going to go to war instead of getting the administration that people have paid for forward, paid their paychecks.
She'll get the job done.
Understand,
she'll get the job done. I think she.
But I'm looking at the job done. But she also, like Trump said, went into a deficit. We could not afford a deficit.
No, she didn't. She didn't go into a deficit.
America,
she didn't go into a
let
deficit.
Let alone other countries.
Hewlett Packard never went into a deficit.
Well.
No.
It was. Well, what I'm saying is that's what the public is prevailing, and Ben Carson said something against the Muslims. Okay.
Well. That's not neither here nor there yet.
As a globe,
okay. But
together, okay. And they're all the elected officials. Every other country takes elections.
Well, make it quick, because I want to show these other points here. Okay.
I don't want to call it a democratized society, but that's where they get the money. So why is everyone as an administration against turning things off against one another? Where is this? I wrote this down. Here's my saying. Waiting in time, why not work it out today? Or today's thoughts today? So we cannot go back. We cannot oppress one side or against the other. We need to be the globe. And most people, okay, don't meet these presidents. They come up, they have money entities such as Donald Trump that paid, so therefore he feels he's owed something, and he's going to dominate society after paying. All these people get paid out of global people that work and pay it forward, and then it's special interest group from that. See what I'm saying?
That's yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's not good.
All right,
and then innocent people's lives, and I'm not for charade or whatever of sending his people out to the desert to run to another country, or I'm not into keeping the sustain going a country against a country. We need to get together because everybody in every country pays their government forward to be secure, and it's all about administration that are elected on other people's money and what they do in life.
All right, my
That's
man.
proven.
All right, my friend. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Check me out on Django.com.
Okay, thank you. All right, but anyhow, okay, but that's now. I want to get back to some points here now on the debate here. Okay, but the CNN debate here. Okay, let's.
And with force, had done something to Assad. If he had gone in you with tremendous force, you wouldn't have millions of people displaced all over the world.
Responsibility, Mr. Trump, did the senators hold?
I think they had a responsibility, absolutely. I think we have three of them here.
Senator Rubio?
I think they had a responsibility. Yes.
Let me tell you that we have zero responsibility, because let's remember what the president said. He said the attack that he was going to conduct was going to be a pinprick. Well, the United States military was not built to conduct pinprick attacks. If the United States military is going to be engaged by a commander-in-chief, it should also...
Okay, we have a call. Hello, you're on the air. What's on your political mind?
Hello, Will.
Hello.
Will, listen. There's something that people are forgetting about. You know, it's not all a matter of human smarts and even human stand as far as being the best president for the country goes. And the thing of it is, the reason why the country has lost all respect is because we let people take prayer out of the schools and disregard the things of God.
We left them.
And
that was under Barack Obama. We left them.
What?
We left them. That's why they.
Well, that's right. But
that's why these countries don't.
It started before that, and it wasn't Barack Obama's business.
No. It was Barack Obama.
Him doing it. No,
we were respected when we were respected when George W. Bush was president. We were more respected around the world when George W. Bush was president.
Well, he did not stop the prayer in schools, though, did he?
What?
I mean, well, no president actually stopped the prayers in schools, but people did it, and it was according to the American Constitution. And so, but this was our choice. And not only do we take the prayer out of schools, but we're taking kids out of high schools for imitating Tim Tebow for praying before football games, too. And then we're watching Superman instead of Jesus Christ.
No, it was the liberals that tried to take the prayer out of school. Okay, it wasn't the conservatives or the Republicans. Okay, it was the liberal Democrats that tried to take prayer out of school.
Well, you probably have a point there. But the thing of it is, it still is a matter of the factor of the American public. They've lost faith in God, and you can't have faith in your country, and not in this country, if you don't have faith in God.
I have always said,
this country to begin with.
I have always said that if you have been watching this show over a long period of time, that this country was founded upon the Judeo-Christian faith. Okay.
Yeah,
our founding fathers actually governed by the Bible.
Anybody that mentions anything about religion.
Oh no!
You have to let me speak my words without interrupting.
It's the left that is attacking a religion in this country. Okay, we are a nation founded upon freedom of religion. Our First Amendment.
Yeah, they're supposed to be. That's what it is.
Our First Amendment guarantees us freedom of religion.
Well, Obama has done more as far as actually praying aloud and making a day of prayer and stuff.
He's been attacking religion here and there. Okay, he's been attacking Christianity. He doesn't even go to a church anymore. You know, his definition of going to church is a photo.
Well, I don't blame him after being 20 years.
After 20 years of being
that extremely prejudiced.
Yeah.
Whatever his name was.
No, after 20 years of being in Reverend Wright's church.
You can't tell the difference.
Reverend Wright's church, and we have a Marxist for a president now.
Well, Hillary Clinton said one thing that I'll always respect. She said, once you're born, you don't have a choice as far as what nation you. What race you are. But she said, once you're born, but you do have a choice concerning your pastor. And Obama was sitting for 20 years under that guy, preaching hatred against white people. Is all he ever preached. He didn't even preach any salvation in Jesus Christ. He's worse than Christopher Reeve, who took up the act of Superman instead of preaching the gospel of Christ, which Christopher Reeve was called to do. Take a look at my website. Beingavailable.com.
Yep. Okay, my friend. I gave you a plug.
Thanks for letting me speak. It was a good flick, though. I mean, I'm glad you showed all that. Thanks for throwing that debate.
All right.
I'll let you know.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Well, I didn't get to the Carly Fiorina's big moment against Donald Trump, but I really wanted to. But anyhow, I want to get to the last words for the night, my friends. Who do you think won the debate? Okay, if you watched the debate and think Carly Fiorina actually won that debate. Okay, but that shall be the last words for the night. We thank you for tuning in, and keep watching Political Point magazine on Channel 13. And that is all for tonight, my friends. Okay, follow me on Twitter at WilliamMitro2, and check me out on YouTube. Alright, so once again, thank you for watching Political Point, where the right is right and the left is always on the right.